Welcome back to the Repro Review Show. I'm your host Doug, and today we're going to stray away from what we've been talking about so far and move out of the Super Nintendo into the other console of the 16-bit wars of the 90s, the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive. We're going to start with a ROM hack of Sonic the Hedgehog called Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the biggest names in video games in the early 90s, competing with the likes of even Link and Mario. Truthfully, I didn't grow up with the Sega Genesis, but when I did get to play Sonic the Hedgehog, it was pure childhood bliss. The first 3 or 4 or 3.5 games are often considered masterpieces from the 16-bit era, and also, not coincidentally, are commonly hacked to give them a unique spin for retro lovers like myself. Shadow the Hedgehog was introduced in Sonic Adventures 2 back in 2001 and proved to be a popular character. He even got his own game in 2005. He was originally brought into the picture to be a rival for Sonic and a villain of sorts. Now he fits more the anti-hero category. Like a darker Knuckles, I guess? Think of him like the Venom to Sonic's Spider-Man. Yeah, that fits. Here we have a hack of the first Sonic the Hedgehog game called Shadow the Hedgehog, or sometimes called Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's what it is. It is Sonic the Hedgehog, but with Shadow the Hedgehog. I've always really liked the graphics of Sonic games. They embody the beauty of the 16-bit era. This doesn't really take any creative liberties visually. Mostly it just looks like Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Let's see here. We have Green Hill Zone, and Marble Zone, and Labyrinth Zone. The works. Just instead of the Sonic sprite, we have the Shadow sprite. Fortunately, the Shadow sprite is very accurate to the character and is more than just a repaint, so to speak. Stylistically, there aren't any significant departures in the level or enemy graphics. They're the same except for color differences, but only sometimes. See, look at this guy. He is a different color than he is here. The springs you bounce off of are also different colors, if that's something that you feel is important to you. Here is one of the major differences with Shadow the Hedgehog: the gameplay. Shadow handles differently than Sonic. He's smooth, fast, and comes with many of the standard Sonic abilities. In fact, he has more of Sonic's abilities than Sonic has in the first game. Like the standard spin attack. Man, how did we ever play Sonic without that? Also, with Shadow, once you get enough momentum, he glides along the ground. Am I playing Shadow the Hedgehog or Moonwalker? Am I right? Hey, wait a second. Yeah, sweet. While in the original Sonic game, all 3 of the buttons on the Genesis controller did the same thing, which was make Sonic jump. Each of Shadow's abilities use all 3 of the buttons. If you're holding still and press A, Shadow does a spin kick, and actually that comes in handy. Remember those horrible caterpillars that you had to bonk precisely on the head or you'll lose all your rings? Well, you will get an unprecedented amount of satisfaction from kicking those monsters in the face. Ah yeah. Ah yeah. Oh yeah. Another control change is the homing dash. You just press the C button to jump, and you press it again, and you dash to the nearest enemy. You can also land some trickier jumps that way, but just be careful, because you can lose control and bad things will happen. Oh. So there actually are some key differences that make it handled differently than Sonic 1, and most of them actually decrease the difficulty of the game, but they up the enjoyment factor. In fact, going back to Sonic, with his Sonic 1 limitations, turned out to not be so easy. You may not want to play Sonic again after playing Shadow the Hedgehog. So I guess it's true what they say. Once you go black, you never go back. Shadow the Hedgehog is not a particularly clever hack, and it may feel entirely pointless if you're one of the millions of people who have already played Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, that game that was packaged with the Sega Genesis? And yeah, you wouldn't be entirely wrong. It is kind of pointless. Then again, what is life, if not one menial task after another? If anything, this game is a bit easier than the original because of Shadow's additional abilities. It's still a fun game though, because Sonic is a fun game. But it would have been nice for the team to take a few more creative liberties. Change the music around maybe give the levels a bit of a different color palette, or embellish the end bosses a bit. Why not make it seem like a negative or parallel world to the original game? So you don't have to mess with the level design overly, just change some of the visuals. That could be fun. I know not every hack has to be an all-new game, but this is so similar that you do have to wonder what the point of it is. So it actually makes it hard to recommend this game. Sonic games have a long-standing tradition of playing as other characters in the classic familiar games. Ever since the Sonic and Knuckles cart could make it so you could play as the edgy echidna in both Sonic 3 and Sonic 2, fans of the series have played into this formula. There was appeal in playing the familiar levels with the different variables that a different character brought. This game is not the first of its kind by any means. There are hacks where you can play Sally Acorn from the Saturday Morning Sonic series, Amy Rose, who first appeared in Sonic CD, and even Mario, or Somari, or, you know, we'll get to him another time. So can I actually blame the game if it actually claims to be nothing more than Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog? Sonic fans have shown that they're all for playing the same levels over and over because the stage designs actually reward the replay. Though arguably not as much in Sonic 1 as the next couple of games. But still, the audience is there. That being said, I'd prefer to play Shadow in Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, but that's just because those are stronger games. But that's not what this game is. So maybe it's not about doing anything different, so much as just enjoying the novelty of its very existence. See? Because look it's Sonic the Hedgehog, but you play Shadow instead. Careful in this spot in Marble Zone 3 if you still have your shield. If the spikes fall on you while you're invincible, you could get trapped. And I can't even die. And there's no time limit, so I guess I gotta reset. Did this happen in the original game? Let's find out. No, I guess not. Oh, but look at that. Found a one up. Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog is what it says it is, to the letter. But it's fun because it's Sonic with a bit of a twist. The casual game fan won't find all that much to invest in here, but fans of the Sonic franchise will likely enjoy giving these levels a run through with Shadow's smooth handling. But the bottom line is that the main appeal is in the nostalgic novelty, not anything new that the game actually brings forward. So in the end, I have to give Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.5 out of 5 liberated penguins. That's a game for hardcore Sonic fans. Thanks so much for watching the Repro Review Show, and we'll see you next time!